Hey, Wember World Entertainment, and the Highlander has found its villain. Yep, well, the deal is closing, so it's not officially fully done as of yet, but it probably is at this stage. But they have found their Kurgan in none other than Dave Bautista. So it's an interesting choice, especially seeing as he has lost a lot of that size to the point where we're all looking at him going, the dude doesn't look well. But there's actually a new article in Men's Health with him, if you see it, and he does look a bit healthier. Just for some reason, he didn't look healthy when he started losing the size and stuff. But he has been cast as Kurgan. So let's have a look at this, because he is now the third casting in this movie. Obviously, fourth overall with Henry Cavill, but in terms of the side characters, he is the third character that's been cast. So Dave Bautista is set to play one of the most infamous villains in sword and sorcery cinema. According to the trades, Bautista has been cast as Kurgan in Chad Stahelski's upcoming Highlander reboot, starring Henry Cavill, and is closing the deal. The role was originally played by Clancy Brown in the 1986 film, which starred Christopher Lambert as Connor MacLeod and Sean Connery as Ramirez. Kurgan, an immortal warrior, was a contender for the prize, the combined power of all immortals. In the original movie, he was a brutal adversary known for slaughtering, pillaging, and taking the heads of fellow immortals. Stahelski's Highlander will revise the classic story of immortal warriors battling through the centuries, leading to a final confrontation for ultimate power. Cavill stars as MacLeod, with Russell Crowe also confirmed to play Ramirez. Marissa Albelli, or however you pronounce it, has also joined the cast in a new role as an immortal warrior, who is a teacher of swordplay and one of MacLeod's past loves. Now, regarding her character and the fact that it's brand new and she's also meant to be immortal, I'm going to assume that Kurgan is going to behead her. Now, I suppose, spoiler if you've never seen the original Highlander, a 30-plus-year-old movie. But in that movie, Kurgan, of course, beheads and kills Ramirez. So I'm curious as to whether they're going to change that, and it's not going to be Ramirez that he kills, it's going to be the love interest. I wonder if that's the way they're going to go. So it's saying, in addition to Highlander, Deadline also reports that Bautista will appear in Roadhouse 2 opposite Jake Gyllenhaal, who's reprising his role as Dalton from the 2024 Prime Video hit. Bautista's upcoming projects include Trap House, The Wrecking Crew with Jason Momoa, and the Zelliner brothers, never heard of them, alien invasion comedy Alpha Gang. Bautista has also recently appeared in Dune Part 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and The Last Showgirl. The reboot is said to be a prequel-style reboot that draws heavily from the mythology of the original movie and the popular 1990s TV series. So, again, this is the only article that I see, like this actual website that talks about this, that seems to be referring to this thing as a prequel style movie. None of that makes sense to me, especially when they've said no, it's very much kind of present day and stuff like that. So yeah, that part's confusing. Bautista as Kurgan, now that's interesting because, again, especially if you haven't seen the original, Clancy Brown's portrayal of that character was insane. Like, he was off his trolley. He was just nuts and just lived basically for destroying things. That was his main thing. Now, I wonder if they'll stick to the whole idea as well in this new one that you can't fight on holy ground. So if they want to have a meeting basically where, the threat of having a fight is removed, they go to church. So, and you get this crazy scene in the original movie of Clancy Brown's Kurgan being in a church and like he's terrorizing the church and the priests and stuff, and then of course MacLeod comes in and they have their conversation, and it's just Conor McLeod just sitting there and just listening to this insanity that's pouring out of Kurgan. Is like, are they going to redo that type of scene? So Bautista being this character, like, obviously they're probably going to have a different take on their character, which makes sense, but at the same time it is the case of, will he have that essence of insanity that we've come to see and know from that character of Kurgan? And the funny thing about Clancy Brown's portrayal is, I don't know if you've ever seen this or heard this, but Clancy Brown's done interviews. He's never actually been paid for that role. Even to today, he's never been paid. He did it for nothing. And out of all the agreements and stuff, he's still entitled to nothing. So he basically did Highlander for free. And to this day, even with that movie's cult following and everything else, he still has never received a penny from that movie. And here's another. I'm curious now. I've just thought of it. I wonder if they will try and get Christopher Lambert and even Clancy Brown to have some sort of cameo in the movie. Obviously not as Kurgan and as Conor McLeod, but maybe it's just like passers-bys or something. Or maybe a victim to a character. I'm curious as to whether or not they could do that. It might be a bit weird to have it, but at the same... And of course, if Clancy Brown does come back for a cameo, I'm sure he'll definitely want to be paid this time around. But overall, I think it's an interesting casting choice to play this character. Again, it depends what way they do this character, because Bautista's not known for kind of having that range of being, like, playing this insanity. He always kind of plays more of the brute, basically, so he can pull that part off, obviously, but it's just that other part. And his movies, look, there's no arguing. He's not a great actor. There's people who think he's really coming into his own. He's not. He really is a bad actor. But at the same time, if you looked at the original version of Kurgan, you kind of go, well, I suppose you wouldn't really have to be a good actor to pull that off, because it's just be insane. So it'll be interesting to see what his take is on this. Now, in small doses, Bautista is fairly good. Like, if you ever saw the short that they did for Blade Runner 2049, that was based on his character, which was longer than his actual scene in the actual movie, but he was actually decent in that. James Bond, of course, played to the strength of, well, we know this dude can't really deliver a line, so we'll just have him be brute force and say nothing. And even when he does finally say something which is shit, it wasn't even him saying it. They dubbed his voice. Like, that's how much they were like, this dude cannot deliver a line, so we'll just dub his voice with someone else saying just shit. That's it. That's all he said in James Bond, and they dubbed it. So again, he's not a fantastic actor, but he's definitely an interesting choice for this particular role. So we'll have to wait and see. But do let me know what you actually think of this casting choice of Dave Bautista as Kurgan, and of course Russell Crowe as Ramirez and stuff. It's going to be an interesting movie, and hopefully it stays fairly faithful to the source material, but we'll wait and see. And for people who keep chiming in and asking the question, from what we've heard, and Stahelski has said it in the past, Queen's music is meant to be a big part of this movie as well, so they will really need to focus on that as well, because that seems to be a lot of kind of what people are asking for, like, will this movie work without Queen's music? Apparently the Queen's music is meant to be a part of it, so yeah, no need to worry there. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.